Good afternoon, everyone. So I was asked to talk about the three pillars of life, envisage, evoke, and enlighten. Yes, I envisage a future filled with all comforts. Who wouldn't want that? But all said and done, I am most happy when I am surrounded by people who love and care about me. I am alive and happy to be here today. I use the word alive because it reminds me of the dreadful 26/11 attack. I was among the lucky ones to survive. The memory of that horrifying day is still afresh in my mind, as though it only just happened yesterday. A group of terrorists entered various locations in Mumbai, killed and destroyed more than 200 people. The onslaught known to us as 26/11. The young men who ventured into the hotel, amongst other places, with the intention of gunning down the public, what did they demonstrate? The vulnerable and brutal side of the human mind. What did they seek? To spread fear through terrorism. I was one of the many to experience the ordeal that lasted nearly 3 days. Having been stuck for hours, I was contemplating what lay ahead. Never could I imagine that I would experience a terror attack. It was a typical hectic day at the Taj. November is peak season time. There were wedding receptions, banquets, cocktail dinners, and a lot of events happening at the hotel. Suddenly, we sounded what sounded like fireworks. Being wedding season time, I assumed the same. Suddenly, we heard and we started getting phone calls and text messages intimating us that there was a gunman on the loose. So the only thing at that point to do was to shut the doors and to deny access to anybody who tried to enter. We pushed the hot food trolleys to jam the doors, asked our guests to move away from the doors and windows against the walls and settle down on the floor. At one point of time, we were about 65 of us locked in, emotions and anxieties raging high. No one knew what was going on outside. Eventually, the news started pouring in, and we were informed that there wasn't one, but 4 terrorists in the hotel. How do I relate what happened that night to the theme of today's talk? What does it mean to me? Why is it important? What changes did I experience during and after the event? I believe that when difficult times prevail, you either play the victim or you get over it and do something about it. I wasn't brought up to play the victim. If you have the ability to rise to the occasion, then you ought to. You owe it to yourself and to others around you. I did what was right for me and the other 65 in the room. You also need to understand that you're here for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. You have something very profound to accomplish. If there is nothing that you have to accomplish, you wouldn't be here. Don't ignore the clues, no matter how bizarre they may seem. Now, this may sound a bit conceited, but under the circumstances, I felt I could handle the situation better than anybody else that day. It called for someone to take control over a situation which otherwise could have, God forbid, ended badly. I had faith in myself because I was the only one I could control. If I could keep calm, I could do much more. The decision to stay put and not venture out, looking for a way to get out, was entirely intuitional. I'm generally a very impulsive person, but that was not the right time to make a move or to show heroics. Rather, to wait for the right time to make a move. As one would expect, there were people who didn't agree, staff and guests both. When you're in a room full of CEOs of the largest and most successful multinationals, people will ask you what you're up to, and they will expect a plan of action. Well, I didn't have a plan back then, and I don't even have a plan right now. All I knew was that we needed to keep everybody safe, and that, under the circumstances, was achieved by bullying some and by reassuring some. On a lighter note, there was plenty of alcohol in the room, and we made sure that it was well circulated. I was anxious, not only for myself, but for the others who were with me. But I did not want to allow myself to believe that we wouldn't make it. It didn't make sense to think the worst. Of course, it's absolute human nature to want to, survive. That's when the brain starts ticking. But if you allow yourself to calm down and make sense of the situation, you can do much more. I did what I could to the best of my shaking nerves at that point of time. We kept in touch with security through the night, to get quick updates on the situation. We even devised plans to evacuate if we got a chance, but then that again was risky. Now, picture this, it was around 3 a.m. and the terrorists were gunning and destroying everything in sight. They were just burning everything in sight. The chandeliers were shaking and dust falling on our heads. So nobody knew what was going on outside. But eventually the news started pouring in again. And the NSG were now finally in the hotel around 3 a.m. and the operation to fight the enemy had begun. At daybreak the next day, we had a chance to make a move. We broke some windows. We saw the fire brigade outside. We waved out to them. And we were finally able to get our guests to safety. Looking back, I feel these events portrayed a part of us, the Taj staff, that we did not know existed till then. The inherent force and calmness that was exhibited in the face of a potentially fatal situation. The decision to stay put while some wanted to run out, probably to their deaths, and condemning the rest by giving out their locations was a logical one. I think we were successful in getting all our guests to safety from a very perilous situation. From this viewpoint, the Taj made a mark. The theme of today's event is Envisage, Evoke, Enlighten, implying that imagination can lead to enlightenment. These three words, when put together, represent the journey of your life. Imagination sparks inspiration, as it did for me on that fateful day. It called for an inner strength that I had never experienced before. Coming to evoke, the second pillar of life. I think it is very important for a person to keep oneself constantly motivated by evoking time and again the memory of such an unforgettable incident that almost became a milestone in one's life. I hope my experience can help you cope with any situation with courage and conviction. It is through sharing that we learn from each other. Evoking must logically lead to enlightenment, the third pillar of life. Enlightenment is the ability to perceive the truth. It is also the ability to analyze a situation and tread cautiously towards your action plan. I would be happy if my experience serves as an instrument towards your enlightenment. Nothing is impossible is the insight that dawned on me that day. In closing, I would like to read something, I'd like to share something that I read online. I don't know the author, but I found it quite interesting and apt for me. It's titled, God Assigning Duties to Each Zodiac Sign. To you, Libra, I give the mission of service, that humans will be mindful of their duties to others, that they may learn cooperation as well as the ability to reflect on the other side of their actions. I will put you everywhere there is discord, and for your efforts, I will give you the gift of love. Thank you very much.